Today we're going to experiment with making mozzarella cheese. Never done this. Let's do it together for the first time. Got my raw milk right here. Okay, so I'm new to raw milk and I've been dying to make some kind of cheese product. And so mozzarella cheese, they say, is the easiest and kind of an introductory cheese. I've watched, no joke, about 12 different videos on how to do this. And today I'm going to attempt it for the first time with you. And I'm not going to use RENNET, which is a very common method to use. I'm just going to use white distilled vinegar. I saw about half of the videos that I watched use some sort of vinegar. And then the other half were using RENNET and citric acid. And then some people, if they were using milk just bought from the store, rather than using a raw milk, they would add in calcium chloride to kind of bring some of those nutrients back into the cheese. But we don't need to do any of that. This is raw milk. The first thing they said to do is to put your pot over. We're just going to use this. I have not heated it up yet. It is ready to go on the burner. So I'm going to turn this on to like a 4, so just under medium heat. We're going to pour in our milk. This is cold, right out of the refrigerator. Our milk, or our cream, did separate on the top. I've already kind of got it to mix back in. We're going to pour this in and we're going to heat this up to about, and they said all the different videos were between 90 degrees and 115. And so, okay, we're going to get all of this into the pan here. And we have the heat on. We're going to start getting it heated up to between that range. I'm going to go ahead with kind of the 95 range is kind of where I'm thinking this might be safe. I am just going to use a meat thermometer. I do not have a candy thermometer or anything fancy. They just say to get one or to use one that goes below 100 degrees. This one does. It starts, it'll take the room temp here. So we'll see what is the room. The room is currently 69 degrees. So as this warms up, I'll take the temp, and they say to make sure that you stir it regularly while it's heating up so that it heats up evenly, and that you take the temperature kind of in the center so that you know that you're taking the temp of the liquid itself or the milk itself and not the temp of the pan. So we're just going to keep doing this for a little bit, bring it up to temp, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so my little sidekick here woke up from her nap. So we're going to just continue to finish heating this up. We are getting really close to that 90, 95 degree mark, which is where I'm going to add in vinegar. So this is 1/2 gallon that I'm using today. And it says, I shouldn't say it says, because like I said, I'm kind of combining multiple methods into what I'm going to do right now. So I'm going to add in 7 tablespoons of just white vinegar. Okay, so we are at 90. Oh, we're there. We're there. Okay, so we have, this was just reading about 95 degrees. And okay, now that we're at temp, we're going to add that vinegar in. Okay, so I'm just going to get a little bit of a vortex going here. And I'm just going to pour this vinegar in. I'm just going to get it right in there and do a little stirring from the edges in. And I'm not going to stir it a ton. They said to just kind of give it a stir for like 20 to 30 seconds. So I should be counting now, but I got little lady here on my hip. I can already see it starting to separate a little bit. And because I have her on my hip, I can't grab the camera to show you this, but I will show you the curds here in just a minute. So this is doing its thing. we're going to turn the heat off and we're going to cover it. And we're going to let this sit for 5 minutes. And they say that your curds and your whey will fully separate, and you'll have chunks of curds in there, which is your cheese, and the whey will remain. And I'm just really excited to see this fully come together. So I'll be back in about 5 minutes. Okay, so it's been about 4 minutes and I am so impatient. I'm just sitting here like watching paint dry, waiting for this to happen. All right, I got her over here eating some banana bread, which I did make some banana bread earlier from my own video. So I can link that down below if you want a really good banana bread recipe. So I'm just gonna go ahead. We're just gonna dive into this here. It says, I just go, hey, now it's been exactly 5 minutes. So now it says you're going to take these curds, do you see that? And you're going to just squish it against itself on the side, which I might use. Okay, I'm not going to use a spatula for this. Let's use this. And just kind of like bring it over to the side. And it says squish it against itself, but I might just try to strain it out here. Look at that, it separates. This is so cool. Okay, so they do say that, I'm actually just going to strain this out over here. So they say that as long as you put enough acidity in your milk, you should get a nice stretch with your mozzarella. So we're just going to, I don't have like a really fine mesh large strainer here. I hope this doesn't go through these holes over here, but we're just going to try it because this is what we have. I am not getting fancy equipment for this. We are just going to roll with what we have. Oh, she's excited. Daddy just got home. Okay, so I scraped out as much as I could in there, and we have it in the strainer. And you see all that whey that is still on the sides here. So all that liquid is whey. And so we want to try to drain as much of that off as possible. And so we're just going to kind of give this some squishes against itself. And try to drain as much of that off as possible. I'm totally going to get in here with my hands. Getting it as much as possible off of here. Okay, so we're still getting away off of here. This is impressive. That is a lot of liquid it's holding. Okay, so now I'm going to form it into just like a little disc, I guess. And so now the next part is we need to heat up some water. Well, okay, so some people put this in the microwave at this point to heat it up so they can do the stretching. We don't even own a microwave, so we are going to do it old school style with just heating up the water to about 175. And we're going to dip this cheese in that, let it sit for a few minutes so that we can bring this up to temp. And then we're going to do the stretch test. And I guess it's supposed to get really stretchy, and that's when you can salt it. So we're going to see if that actually worked. Okay, so here's the leftover whey. And they say that this is really great for so many things. You can put it in your garden, I guess, to provide nutrients back into your soil. You can feed this to animals. You can use it in recipes in replace of, water or whatnot. So I'm going to try to save that, and we're going to use that for something else. So right here I have just some water. We're heating this up. I'm going to get it to that 175, and we're going to put our cheese that we have here into this water and just heat it up for a few minutes, and then we're going to do the stretch test. Okay, so the water, I actually had to walk away, so I got it up and above temp, so now I'm cooling it back down, and now it's a little under temp, but I think it should be fine. We're just going to try it. So it's at 170 right now, which, I mean, maybe that's great. I don't know. So we're going to put our little cheesecake into this water, and we are just going to get it warmed up. And they say in all of these videos, unless you have like really hardy hands that can handle a lot of heat, to wear gloves in this method. I don't have gloves. So we're going to, because it's going to be really hot, because we're going to stretch it with our hands. So I'm just going to, we're going to pull it out of here, and we're going to see if I can handle it with my hands. We're going to try that. If I can't, then I'm going to get really creative. So we'll see. Okay, so we've had this sitting in this water for a good 5 minutes. I can tell that it is stringy. That's a good sign. So we're going to pull it in here, and we're going to give it a stretch test. So I guess you're supposed to be able to stretch it. Oh, we definitely have some stretch. That is a good sign. So maybe get a little more of the way out of there. And it says, okay, this is not that hot. Maybe either my hands are not sensitive or it's not hot enough. So, okay, so it's definitely starting to break a little bit. So I don't know if it's maybe not hot enough, but it says to stretch. Okay, so it's breaking, so we're going to get it hot again. So I'm going to actually put this back in the hot water for a few minutes, and we're going to, yeah, just bring that water temp back up. I'm going to turn this on. All right, so I'm going to bring that water temp back up. We're going to get this warmer because I can actually handle this really well, which makes me think that it's not hot enough. But it is. I mean, I did get a nice stretch there right away. So that is hopeful. And so, yeah, let's try it again. So we'll just put it back in there, give it a few more seconds, bring it back up to temp, give it a little more stretches, and we'll see. Okay, so we definitely have some stretch. This is hot now, which, yeah. Oh, gosh. It's definitely hot on the hands, but look at that stretch. That looks really good. Okay, so they say to stretch it on, I think this is when you salt it. Yeah, this is, okay. So a few people just salted it just like this and kind of like rubbed it in, and it melted right onto the cheese. Some people salted their water. We're just gonna go right for this. I'm just using kind of a kosher salt here, and we still have some stretch. I don't know how much salt to put on, so we're just gonna try a couple little sprinkles. I would say this is probably about a total of maybe a teaspoon of kosher salt. Obviously, we're gonna go maybe under so that we don't over salt it. And pull it around itself, and you can form like a little ball. This is working. Oh, it's breaking there. Okay, I'm gonna get it warm one more time so I can make a nice little ball, and then I'm going to store it for later. Okay. Ooh-wee. Okay. So we're just going to form this into a ball, and maybe just pinch it together at the bottom here. I think we'll call that good. That looks like a ball of mozzarella to me. I mean, is it the smoothest ball of mozzarella? No. But like I said, we're learning together here today. So that looks pretty dang good. So I'm going to go ahead and store this just in a bowl like this, covered. I'm going to let it come to room temp for a few minutes, and then I'm going to put it in the fridge. And in a few hours, we'll slice it, and we'll see what this bad boy looks like and tastes like. Okay, so it's been a few hours, and I have this beautiful ball of mozzarella cheese here. I had it in the bowl, and then after a few minutes of just letting it come to a little more room temperature, I did end up just wrapping it in the saran wrap, and that'll help protect it a little bit. Some people do store it in some of the whey at room temperature. I just wanted to wrap it, and that's what a lot of people in the videos that I watched did. So let's go ahead and slice it and taste it and see how it turned out. Sure does look pretty. Oh my gosh, I'm happy with that. That looks so good. Lol. Oh my gosh, this is so fun. I'll just cut a few slices here. It actually looks way smoother than I thought it would. Now I want to go ahead and taste it. Just gonna try a little bit. That's legit. So I would say this is a success.
Like and subscribe.
Yes, do that too. Yes. Do that, please. That would be great. So you don't need a rennet. You don't need any of the other things. Literally, this was just raw milk and vinegar. And it turned out excellent. And obviously, we salted it too. So 3 ingredients. This is a success. I'm going to make a few little caprese skewers here. And I would say get yourself some raw milk and make some cheese. This is something I've been wanting to do for a really long time. I'm really excited about it, but you saw it first here, my first time doing cheese, and I give it a thumbs up. Made it. It's really good. It's really good. Bro, Kate, I made mozzarella cheese. Thank you. I'm so excited.